All right, so we know this is proportional because it has no b. So we can say that the expression for that would be 230x. Why is it that I'm calling this an expression and not an equation? It doesn't have an equal sign. We're not equaling it to anything. It's just an expression. Expressions don't have equal signs. It's just like a formula kind of without the equation, the equal part of it. And the other one is also an expression, but it is actually non-proportional because we do have an additional phi, right? So it'll be 35x plus 1,000. And now here comes the most important part. What are we trying to find? So we look at this thing and it says, write and solve an inequality to determine the number of days you would need to make to make plan B the better deal. What would I write? A is greater than B. That's one option. What is the other one? B is less than A. In other words, when is A more expensive than B, or when is B cheaper than A, right? Either way would work. Just keep that in mind. When I see the word better deal, I'm talking about B, right? So I will put B at the beginning because I'm interested when B is a better deal, meaning cheaper than A. I'm comparing B to A, right? So I will start with B. And I wouldn't use the other one. It's still valid. It's still going to give you the right answer, but I want to focus on what I'm talking about, which is B. So B equals to what? What is B? What is the expression for B? That's not it. Hang on. I heard Ariel over there. Is he teaching math? That works. Cool. I got new paper, if you haven't noticed. Um, so we're talking about B being less than A, right? What is B? 35x plus 1,000. And we're asking when this is less than 230x. Now, we were just talking about with some of the eighth grade teachers about how some of our kids do not know what to do here. They don't know if they have to subtract, add, or what. And I told them about our 3 steps. That if you follow these 3 steps, you should be able to do everything in order, right? Oops. So let's start with the first one, which what does that mean? Not convert, combine variables, right? That means with the variables are the ones with the x's, right? With the letters. So we want to keep all the variables on the left. So we're going to subtract from here. I know some of you may have subtracted from the other side. That's okay too. But I want to maintain my x's on the left side because I want to know what the value of x is, right? You don't say 20 equals x. You usually say x equals 20, right? So we're going to do the same thing here. And you're going to get a negative number, which is perfectly fine. This gives me 0, correct? Bring down the sign. 1,000. And you get what? 195x. Now, the second step says to add or subtract. That was another thing. Some kids were trying to subtract 0 or whatever would be instead of 0. And I told them that if you look at the signs, which one has the add or subtracting sign? The 1,000, right? This 1,000 has a sign. That means I'm doing the opposite, the inverse operation. So I will subtract 1,000 from both sides. This gives me 0, so I bring down the negative 195x less than negative 1,000. Some people say that was 0. I'm like, nope. If you have 0 girls but 1,000 boys, you still have 1,000 boys, right? They don't go away. So the third step is to divide, multiply or divide. This thing is multiplying, so we must divide by negative 195 to get rid of it, or just get 1x. And what happens when you divide by a negative? First of all, yes, you flip the sign to greater than, and this, guys, because you have two negatives, they turn into a positive. So we what? 5.128. Okay, let's leave it there because let's go back to the problem and see what does x represent? What is x talking about? The day. That's usually what I do when I go back here. I check on it and I do this. That's my x, right? That means whatever I get for x, that I'm talking about days. Now, do you ever have a 5.1 day? No, you either have 1 day or you have 2 days, right? At a hotel generally. So, at what point will be x be greater than that? You can use 6, right? Let's use 6 and see what happens. So, what would you do to compare them? My expressions, right? So I will go back over here. Use your calculators and do that for me. Yeah, just plug in that number right there. Actually, yeah, plug in 6. Go ahead and plug in 6 instead. Plug in 6, number 6. What? That's find one that has a green thingy. What did you get for this one? So B will be equals to 1,210. What does this mean? What did I get here? What is this value? If X is the days, well, then just find one that actually works from there. There's still work. Then that means it's the money, right? This is the cost for Plan B. What will be the cost of Plan A at the same price? So that means that for 6 days, Plan B will be cheaper than Plan A, right? Is that what they're asking us for? When is Plan B cheaper than Plan A? So you could say that at 6 days, Plan B will be cheaper than Plan A. And now we're going to go back over here and plug them all in. So let's use this one for Plan A, 230x. What is the problem with that? If you use 1, 2, 3, 4, what is it showing you? No, we know the rate. The rate is actually 230 for that one. No, no, think about it. What happens if I use 1, 2, 3, 4 for my values? What would I get? Not necessarily, yes. Think about it. I want you to think about what the variables mean, though. What does x mean again? The days, not the cost. The x is just the days. I even crossed it out. The days, right? You're telling me that for 1 day, this will be 230, right? For 2 days, it will be something else. 460, and so on and so forth, up to 4 days. Now, tell me, when are they the same? You can't see it here, but we actually calculated it. When are they the same? 5.12a, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm trying to say, would this table be able to show me when they're the same? No, because you're looking at when they are before that happens. Do what? You could count them by twos, but here's the idea. I would suggest you start with the number before or the number exactly there and then after. If we know that what that would be, then I can just use that one. So 5.1, just for the argument, and then start with 6 days, 7 days, and 8 days. And that's gonna show me a better idea of where they cross, where they meet, and then how they separate. So it would be 5.1, 6, 7, and 8. And this would be 35x plus 1,000. And now use your calculators to put give me the values of those things. You got them? What was this one? 73. Did you use 5.1? Okay. And here? 78.5, 79. They're not very far off, right? But they're not exactly the same because remember that we got decimals. And right here, we're just using the tens place. So it's not going to be the exact answer. But it's pretty close, right? So for 6, what do you get? What? And for the 7th day? And the last one? And what? And for the next one, what is the 6th day? And what? I need everyone to be doing on the calculators, guys. They're not there to look pretty. Okay. The 7th? 45? And the last one? 80? Notice how the price, that's what the Y means, right? Y means price, X means days. Notice how the price changed. At 5 days, actually at 5 days, one of them is cheaper, which is this one, than the other one, than B. And then after that, they cross, and then they basically become opposites. Plan A starts increasing very fast. Notice how it goes from 1100 to 1300 to 16 to 18. And the other one stays within the same range, basically. That's what you want to see. That's the relationship you want to see. Which one is the better deal? As the days go by, as you add more days to your vacation, which one would be a better deal? Obviously, the second one. So let's move on to the next part where we graph it. Here's another part. What is a good way of analyzing or determining how far my x-axis has to go in terms of numbers? I can't put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I'm saying $1, $2. That doesn't make sense, right? You will never get to 1840. So how would you number these right here on the y-axis to make sure that all of those values are able to be found? By 200? By 1,000? What did you do? Oh, wow. That's a good strategy. Get the biggest number and divide it by 10. What is the biggest number? Why would you divide those by 10? Because there are 10 lines on the axis, right? That is a great way of doing it because that means that on almost in every part you'll be able to find it within that range. What is another way? Somebody said to go by 200. What makes you do that? How far up would it go? To what number? 2,000? So that means you'll be able to find it, right? So we can do 200. 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, 1,600, 1,800, and $2,000. Remember that. We're talking about money when it comes to the Y. That's what it means, the total cost. What about the bottom ones? What's my biggest number? 8. So you can go by ones, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all I need. And now we can plot them. I'll use green for the first one. So when I go for 5 days, 5.1 days, I'm spending 1173. So around here. For a 6 day is 1380, right? So around here, almost close to 1400. For 7 days is 1610, pretty close to that one. And for 8 is 1840, around here, almost in the middle. Are we good? Maybe a little lower. For the other one, I'm gonna use purple. So for 5.1 days, I get technically the same thing as the other one. And then for 6 days is 1210. So it doesn't go up by much. For 7 days it's 1245. It still doesn't go up by much. Wait, I'm in the wrong spot. It's right here. And then right here. And then for the 8th day is 1280. So still not quite reaching 13. Let me redo this. It looks messy. This is the 13 line in the middle. It would have been, it was 12, 10, 1245, 1280. There it goes. Do what? No, if you notice, it's not exactly a straight line because the numbers are too close to each other, so it's kind of hard to see that draw a line on there. But you can see a direction. The first one, it goes up very fast. Generally speaking, when the coefficient, the number right in front of the variable, is big, it's going to be very steep, whether it is positive steep that way or negative steep down. When the coefficient is less, like 35, it won't be as steep. It'll be kind of normal. The coefficient has a lot to do with it. So here's the next part. Does it make sense to connect all these dots? Let's ignore the second one and just focus on the green one. Does it make sense to connect the green dots? Why not? You have to be able to explain why. I don't want you to guess. I want you to evaluate what you're saying. Does it make sense for me to connect the dots on the green one? Why? You're looking at it visually, but not as far as the context. I need you to tell me what determines whether I can connect the dots or not in any situation. Yes. Thank you. Better. That again, you're looking at the graph and not the context. Tell me, in which situation does it make sense to connect the dots? Yes? You're still looking at the graph. Context. When I say context, I'm talking about the story. In which situation, ignore the numbers, in which situation does it make sense to connect the values? I'm sorry? In time. In time, right? Why is that connected in time? You can break it down into pieces, right? It's continuous. Now tell me, in this situation, is the y value changing continuously? I'm talking about every second, every minute, every hour. When does it change? Every day. So that means that you pay something to the hotel, and you don't pay anything until the next day if you want to stay one more day, right? And then the next day, you pay again. And you notice someone walking, and I take one step and I stop. I'm stopping. The plant that we did on the other one, it doesn't stop. It grows at a very microscopic way, like you can't even notice it. but it's growing each time, each second. This does not grow. If I were to actually draw a line through this thing, it wouldn't be a straight line. It will look like this. It would be like from here, it stops, and then it goes up, and it stops, and it goes up, stop, and it goes up. Because those lines in the middle mean that there's no movement, no action there, right? You're not making any payments throughout the day. I mean, if you went to a hotel and they charge you per minute, that would be horrible. You just pay for the day. And the next day, usually by around 11 or 12, you have to renew or leave. You need to understand these things because I know a lot of you probably have never been to a hotel, but that's how they work. Yes. Yes. Or they'll ask you to, no, they'll ask you to renew. Evacuate means to get out. Well, yeah, but like I said, you never notice those things, but you do not pay each minute, right? You just pay when you get there, and the next day you're done and you go. I want you to understand that. So I cannot draw a line through those because they're discrete points. I'm only being charged at a particular moment, not the entire time. All right. I know I'm spending a little too much time on that one, but it is extremely important for you to understand that. Why is it that it's continuous? Why is it that it's only a particular point? And what tells me that I can connect them? It is not that I don't have enough values in between. That's not it. It is not that I'm going by day and day and day. It is the fact that the y value is not increasing between day 1 and day 2, for example. It stays the same. That's what these lines mean. All right, so let's wrap that one up. We're done with that one. And let's go to, where'd it go? Oh, yeah, the homework, which was, should have been easy. It should have been quite easy, actually. All right, that one, right? So let's take these guys and transfer it to a better looking place. This one like brings it up too big. Yes, you were. Use color pencils. All right, so the figures for the triangle. Here's the reason why I wanted you to use color pencils, because whenever you see the like for example, you're talking about a triangle right there, even though it's in blue, it is good for you to go and trace it again to remind you what you're talking about. We're talking about this triangle right here. That one, right? And now grab the image of the triangle after the translation that maps point D from the pre-image to point D prime. That little apostrophe means prime. When you hear the word prime, they're referring to the image, the new one. If it doesn't have an apostrophe, that's the pre-image, the one before, right? Keep those things in mind. Okay, so can somebody tell me what movement happened from D to D prime? Raising their hands. Yes. 4 down and then what? 4 down and 2 to the left. Let's see if this is right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 1, 2 to the left. So if you know the movement from one point, you can do the movement for the other ones, right? So let's do E. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2 to the left. That's E prime. And then F is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 to the left. And this is F prime. You need to be able to say those things, not to be able to. You need to say those things. When you're talking about the image, you got to say it's D prime or A prime or whatever it is, because that way I'll know what you're talking about. And now I can connect these dots right here for the new triangle. And you can notice the transition there. Every time you do the transition, you should be able to see it, the picture as like a little 3D shape. If you don't, that means something went wrong. Also notice that, well, what is the, how does it compare the image to the pre-image? Similar or congruent? They can be both. Well, they can be both, I guess. Congruent, right? You can say that triangle DE, what on earth? You can say a triangle DEF is congruent, that's how you do it, to D E prime F prime. Ugh, what's wrong with me today? And that's it. They're congruent. They're exactly the same, right? It's just at a different position. The next one is not very difficult either. Graph the quadrilateral KLMN with vertices KLMN, and they give you the points, right? So, first of all, what is a quadrilateral? We should know that already. A 2D shape that is closed and has 4 sides, right? I had to add those 2 parts. And vertices, what are they? Like the little points in the corners, right, where 2 lines meet. So let's go to -3 right here, and then 2 up. And this is K. And then 2 and 2 right here, that's L. And then 0 and -3, that's M. And then -4 and 0, that is N. Did we all get that? Hopefully so. Okay. So now let's connect the dots. And you should get a little, almost like a trapezoid. I can't tell for sure, but it looks like 2 of those lines are parallel. All right. Which side of the image, wait, we have to, on the same coordinate grid, graph the image of the quadrilateral KLMN, which is that one, after the transition of 3 units to the right and 4 units up. So for this, where you were supposed to go 3 to the right, grab 1 point at a time and go 1, 2, 3, and then how many up? Right here. And that will be L prime. Always do that. Once you move it, that's going to be the image now. Pre-image, prime is the image. So you go 3 and then 4 up. And that'll be K prime. And then N will be 3 and then 4 up. That would be N prime. It would be 3 and 4 up. And that would be M prime. And I should be able to do exactly the same thing. And now I have my image. And using the same type of things to show you. What? It makes the exact an exact replica of what we just did, right? What? Yes. So we just connected them, and now we're just gonna see a transition. Why is it doing that? Stupid thing. Whatever. There you go. There you go. That is cool. You're welcome. Whatever. All right, let's read the next question. Which side of the image, wait, what are we talking about right now? The black one or the red one?
Black.
The image, what is the image? The prime or the non-prime? The prime, right? The new one. The image is the new one. The pre-image is which one? Ah, the pre-image is the first one, right? The image is the new one. So it's saying which side of the image, meaning the red one, is congruent to the side LM. LM is this guy right here. Which side on the top one is congruent to that?
Prime. L prime N.
L prime and M prime. And you put the line on top to tell me that's what you're talking about, the line. That's all you had to do. But you need to understand, the line on top means you're talking about a line or a segment or aside for that in that situation? The what? What do you mean? This? How do you put it? Oh, well, make sure you do it for next time. I understand what you say, but make sure you do it. The next one, name the three other pairs of congruent sides. Uh-huh. Well, LK, and then what? Well, these are just lines. I want a pair of congruent lines. LK is congruent to what? There you go, like that, right? And the other one will be what? And the last one? There we go. And that's all you needed to do. Yes, it's just prime. Yeah. The prime, that's why I said it's important to say prime, because when you say prime, I know you're talking about the image, not the pre-image. It makes a huge difference. All right, let's see what's next. Those were easy, right? What happened here? So all you have to do is movement. 4 to the left and 2 down. 4 to the left, 2 down. 4 to the left, 2 down. 4 to the left, 2 down. That was it. Super easy. 5 right and 3 up. Whoa. Easy, right? There is nothing complicated about this one. How do you feel about translation so far? 5, I got it. 1, I don't. Okay, good. For those of you who have any questions, what do you think is the hardest part? It's okay if you do. You can do it as a practice. For those of you who are don't quite get it, do the second part for homework, and I will give you extra credit, a lot. But your homework is actually different. Hang on, I heard somebody over there thinking something. Which part? What about it? What did you get? For the plotting, just go back to the video and watch it, but I need you to watch it with it, okay? For the homework, it'll be page 243. Do the entire page. 243, and it's on, I'm sorry, 343. And it's gonna be on reflection, hey? On reflection, which is something you already did. And it's just basically a review of it. 343. Just the front. Make sure you watch the video if you don't understand it, but please, guys, do it for your own benefit, okay?